Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something that literally affects millions of us, but somehow no one ever talks about it openly. We're going to break down the hidden legal loopholes hospitals quietly use, loopholes that can turn a routine senior admission into a massive, thousands of dollars financial trap. But more importantly, I'm going to give you the exact words, the literal scripts you need to know to protect yourself, your recovery, and, well, your retirement savings.
So, let's jump right in. Think about the last time you walked into a hospital. If you or a loved one are over 65, chances are you were immediately handed a clipboard with a stack of forms heavier than a phone book, right? And you're just told, sign here. Look, simply signing that clipboard when you're distracted or maybe in pain can instantly trap you in a system that's quietly designed to drain your wallet and potentially jeopardize your care. The folks this happens to aren't careless, they just don't know the right questions to ask. Which brings us to our countdown of the top 5 traps.
Trap number 5. The out-of-network specialist surprise. We're kicking things off with number 5 because, honestly, this one catches people completely off guard. Imagine you do everything right. You do your homework, you call your Medicare Advantage plan, and you confirm that the physical hospital building is 100% in-network. You feel totally secure. Well, here's the kicker. The anesthesiologist who pops in during your procedure, the radiologist reading your scan down the hall, or the ER doc treating you, they might be contracted completely separately. And because those specific doctors are out of network, guess who gets stuck with that massive bill? You do. Now, what's kind of fascinating is that the government actually stepped in to try and fix this. The No Surprises Act is a federal law passed specifically to protect patients from this exact out-of-network trap. It gives you a really powerful legal right, but here's the catch. Almost nobody uses it. Why? Because they simply don't know what to ask for when they walk through those hospital doors. So here is your absolute best defense. Seriously, write these exact words down or grab a photo of the screen. The moment you arrive, before any procedure happens, you look at them and say, "I only consent to treatment by in-network providers under the No Surprises Act." Bam. Saying that legally puts the hospital on notice. If they bring in an out-of-network specialist after you've dropped that statement, the financial responsibility bounces right back to the facility, completely protecting your wallet. Moving right along to trap number 4, premature hospital discharges. Now, this trap doesn't actually involve paperwork. It's usually a really rushed conversation when you're at your absolute most vulnerable. Look, hospitals are businesses, right? And they face immense financial pressure from insurance companies to empty beds as fast as humanly possible. On the ground, this means seniors get pushed out before their bodies are genuinely ready to go home safely. Take Margaret's story. She's a 71-year-old retired school librarian from Columbus, Ohio, who just had a hip replacement. On day 2, literally day 2, a physical therapist did a quick evaluation and the doctor immediately pushed for her to go home the very next morning. Because a doctor suggested it, most of us would just nod and cock our bags. But thankfully, her daughter stepped in. Margaret later admitted that if she had been sent home that early, she absolutely would have taken a dangerous, guaranteed fall. The absolute crucial takeaway here is that you do not have to just nod and leave. Medicare patients have a strict legal right to fight this sort of rehab dumping. You can actually request an expedited appeal through your local Quality Improvement Organization, or QIO, which you can easily look up at Medicare.gov. And here's the magic of it. Once you file that appeal, the hospital is legally halted from kicking you out while the review is processed. But the trick is knowing exactly what to say in the moment. If a doctor tries to send you or your loved one home way too soon, you look the care team right in the eye and say, "I don't feel medically ready for discharge, and I am requesting an expedited appeal through the QIO." I guarantee you, delivering that specific phrase will change the tone in the room immediately. It forces everyone to pause and ensures you actually get the baseline therapy you need to recover safely. All right, let's look at trap number 3. Hidden medication swaps. Believe it or not, this trap starts the literal moment you get admitted. Hospitals run on a specific, approved list of stock drugs called a formulary, so they'll often just swap a senior's carefully calibrated maintenance meds, like blood pressure or thyroid medications, with their own generic versions without clearly telling you. For adults over 60, this is way more than a minor inconvenience. Your cardiovascular system is incredibly sensitive to these sudden changes. A swap can trigger very real, adverse effects like severe dizziness, wild blood pressure swings, or even irregular heart rhythms. And to add insult to injury, the hospital pharmacy will often charge you premium rates for giving you the wrong drug. Crazy, right? To stop this dead in its tracks, you've got to be proactive. Keep an updated, written list of your current brand names, dosages, and timings. Hand that directly to the admitting doctor and explicitly tell them, "Do not substitute or alter any of my maintenance medications without an explicit clinical review and my written consent." Boom. This one simple phrase takes the legal and clinical responsibility of any medication swap and puts it exactly where it belongs, on the medical team, long before any swap actually happens.
We are halfway through our countdown. Trap number 2, the blanket financial responsibility form. You really need to pay close attention to this one, because this trap financially blindsides more seniors than almost anything else. And the absolute worst part? It usually happens in the first 10 minutes you're there, when you're scared, hurting, and just desperately want to get into a bed. Buried deep inside that giant stack of intake clipboards is a single little clause where you agree to assume all financial responsibility for services not covered. Most of us just sign it blindly. But signing that knowingly waives your right to standard insurance protections. It basically gives the hospital a free pass to practice balance billing, meaning they bypass regular insurance negotiations and bill you directly at insanely inflated, full rates for anything Medicare doesn't perfectly cover. But you can stop this with a simple pen. Before you hand that clipboard back to the desk, pull out your pen and write this critical addendum right next to your signature, signing only for authorized insurance benefits, not personal financial liability for uncovered balance billing. Do it right there in front of the intake staff. It legally documents your intent and puts a massive shield around your wallet, protecting you from those inflated phantom charges down the road.
And finally, trap number 1, the observation status secret.
Guys, this is without a doubt the most financially devastating secret on our entire list today. It involves a tiny, seemingly harmless paperwork classification that you won't even know happened, but it has the power to absolutely wreck a lifetime of retirement savings in a matter of days. Get this. Official CMS data reveals a truly shocking statistic. 3 out of every 10 Medicare patients admitted to a hospital are placed under what's called observation status. That means even if you're sleeping in a hospital bed, eating the hospital meals, and getting round-the-clock specialist care, legally, you are technically classified as an outpatient.
So, why does that matter? Well, because Medicare Part A strictly requires a formal inpatient stay of at least 3 consecutive days to cover any rehab or skilled nursing care afterward. Take Robert, for example. He's a 68-year-old retired electrician who spent 4 nights in the hospital with severe chest pain. But because he was secretly classified as observation, not a single one of those nights counted toward that 3-day minimum. When he transferred to a rehab facility later, he was slammed with a totally out-of-pocket $22,000 bill. $22,000!
Robert told us later that no one, literally no one, ever uttered the words observation status to him during his stay. If they had, you better believe he would have fought it. So the absolute first question you must ask the attending physician or the case manager the second you hit a hospital bed is this: am I admitted as an inpatient or am I under observation status? If they look right at you and say, "Oh, you're under observation status," do not panic. Just deploy this phrase immediately. I am requesting that my status be reviewed for formal inpatient admission based on medical necessity. Stating this out loud forces the care team to actually document your request and respond to a formal status review. Honestly, in a lot of cases, just explicitly asking the question is enough to force them to change it. Plus, the law actually requires hospitals to notify you in writing if you're under observation status. It's called the Moon Notice, or Medicare Outpatient Observation Notice. If you've been in that hospital for a day and a half, about 36 hours, and no one has handed you this piece of paper, ask for your Moon Notice by name. It proves to the hospital staff that you know your legal rights inside and out, and they won't try to pull a fast one on you.
All right, let's wrap this up with your ultimate hospital protection plan.
We have covered a huge amount of ground in this explainer today, so do me a favor, grab your phone and take a screenshot of this checklist right now. Commit to bringing this list to every single medical appointment, every specialist visit, and every hospital intake for the next 30 days. If you do this, it'll become an automatic habit, and it's a habit that will permanently protect both your physical recovery and your hard-earned life savings from a system that, let's face it, is often stacked against you.
But here's the really critical thing to remember. Everything we covered in this explainer only protects you for the first half of your medical journey. Once you actually leave the hospital, an entirely new set of hidden traps is waiting for you. So, what financial traps are secretly waiting to ambush you at the rehabilitation facility? Drop a comment below with your own hospital experiences so we can all learn from each other. And make sure you stick around for our next deep dive, where we'll unpack exactly what happens after discharge. You absolutely won't want to miss it.